Someone took my chair.
Good evening, all. Welcome to our Tuesday evening meeting of the Fairfield Golden Speakers Toastmasters Club. My name is Rick Starr. It's my pleasure to start the meeting by introducing our president, Mr. Lewis Dembaum.
Thank you, Mr. Sergeant at Arms. And welcome. Golden Speakers meets here in the club room at Hy-Vee every Tuesday at 7:45. And we welcome people from all walks of life to come and join us and see what we're about. First order of business is cell phones. We all have them, right? Let's all reach into our pockets and turn them off, so none of our speakers are disturbed tonight by the ringing of the cell phone. With that said, I would like to read the mission of our Toastmasters Club. The mission of our Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. And I see we have a couple of guests. I'd like to ask our guests if they'd like to say what brought them here. Emery?
Emery Styron. This is my second visit. I was here a week ago, and I think somebody said I came in my car. But I found myself teaching a public speaking class at Iowa Wesleyan College as an adjunct, and realized I really need to brush up my own skills.
Welcome. Thanks for coming back. Like to say what brought you here tonight?
Sure. My name is Sean Fry. I'm from Van Buren County, Dallas, Iowa. I was a member 8 years ago, and I remember hearing Art give one of his first speeches way back. I think when we were maybe at the Methodist Church in the basement.
Methodist Church.
Yeah. So I just decided to come. I travel for work, and I'm hardly ever in town. But I just happened to be on Tuesday. My iPhone said Golden Speakers meeting, so it's fun.
Fantastic. Thank you to your iPhone for bringing me.
My name is Ahmed. I'm from Egypt. I'm here since October, and unlucky me, I didn't know that you exist since yesterday. What brought me here, I was giving a presentation in the class, and it was one wonderful presentation as per my professor. But he said he was shaking in the presentation, so you should go to train yourself on public speaking. So I'm
Very good. I'm glad your fortunes have changed and you know about us. All right. So now I would like to turn our meeting over to our esteemed Toastmaster, Samantha.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, viewers at home. My name is Samantha Young, and I'll be the Toastmaster for the evening. So my role as Toastmaster is to make sure the meeting runs smoothly, as well as introduce the role players, so we can launch right into that. Our timer for the evening is Wilburn. He's here. Okay, we'll go to the grammarian, Annalisa Fredrickson.
Hello everyone. So tonight I picked a word which is fearless, an adjective, which means without fear, bold or brave. Intrepid. Intrepid. Thank you. Intrepid, yes. Example, I try new things. I am fearless. So I'm going to be listening tonight for anyone who is speaking. If they say this word, you get a little brownie point. And I'm also going to be listening to see if you have any good uses of English language or anything that needs to be improved. I'll make note of it, and then I'll have a brief report at the end.
Our awe counter for the evening is Nirdra Maheshwari.
going to count all these. Even I'm doing like, you know, so, but, and conflict. And I will give the whole lecture. Thank you.
Monty will step in as our timer for the moment and give a report of what the timer does.
Second.
Okay.
On the slide, role changes here. The timer's job is to keep time. All our speeches and all the sections of our meeting are supposed to be timed. As Toastmasters, timing is a very important thing. Our speeches tonight are 5 to 7 minutes, which means the green light turns on at 5 minutes. The yellow light, which is a mid-warning, turns on at 6. And the red light, which means stop, or you need to be prepared to stop, turns on at 7. Once the red light turns on, you have 30 seconds to wrap up whatever you're saying so that you will meet time. Our table topics are our impromptu speeches. For those, the green light turns on at 1 minute, the yellow light turns on at 1:30, and the red light turns on at 2. Once the red light turns on, you have an additional 30 seconds to wrap up what you're saying. Evaluations of the speeches and also the speech evaluators are 2 to 3 minutes. That means the green light turns on at 2 minutes, the yellow at 2:30, and the red at 3 minutes.
Monty, we also have an icebreaker with slightly different time.
The icebreaker, thank you for pointing that out. The icebreaker is timed 5 to 6 minutes. So the green light will turn on at 5, or at 4, excuse me, and the yellow light will turn on at 5, and the red will turn on at 6. And I'll give a report at the end of the meeting about everyone's times.
Our general evaluator for the evening is Art Atkinson. I will give a joke at the end of our meeting, and our ballot counter is Lewis Dembaum, our president. I also
just want to say, guests, you are welcome to evaluate the speeches with the forms that we have, and also to vote. You just write the name of the person you're voting for, you tear off the little piece of paper, and I'll come around and you hand it.
And on the evaluation forms, put your own name as evaluator somewhere on the form so that the person receiving the evaluation can come to you to ask for clarifications if they want to.
Our meeting theme is Earth Day, and the quote for our evening is, "On Earth there is no heaven, but there are pieces of it." Jules Renner. I also want to mention, if you learn nothing while attending our Toastmaster meeting, be a fearless clapper. Okay. So we'll begin with our prepared speeches section. And please help me warmly welcome Rick Starr to read the objectives for DJ.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, thank you for coming, and viewers at home. DJ Teo is giving a speech, Project 3, from the Competent Communicator Manual. DJ is a student at MUM, is in his senior year. He's studying for a bachelor's degree in media and communications, specializing in film. His aim is to use media to spread positive messages in the future. And he feels that Toastmasters is a great platform to allow him to become a more effective leader and communicator. DJ is giving Project 3, which is get to the point. Every speech must have a general and a specific purpose. A general purpose is to inform, to persuade, to entertain, or to inspire. A specific purpose is what you want the audience to do after listening to your speech. The objectives of the speech are to select a speech topic and determine its general and specific purposes, organize the speech in a manner that best achieves those purposes, project sincerity and conviction and control any nervousness you may feel, and strive not to use notes. The title of DJ's speech is Getting to Know Your Ego States. The speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Please join me in welcoming DJ.
Fellow Toastmasters, guests and viewers at home, I would like you to know yourself better today, so I'm going to introduce yourselves to your ego states. There are 3 ego states within everybody. There is the child ego, there is the parent ego, and there is the adult. So let's look at the child state of the ego. The child state of the ego is developed from childhood to adolescence, and this is the state where, as innocent little childs and explorers of the world, we go out to the unknown and interact with the world around us. So basically, there are 2 different aspects of the child self. There is the natural child, and there is the victim child. So the natural child is the child where it interacts in a stress-free environment, and natural childlike emotions are evoked, such as love, attraction, delight, desires, urges to know, to feel, to touch, and to discover and to experience new worlds. Like an example of like how one might communicate based on this type of ego state would be, oh wow, are you serious? Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, I can't wait to do this. Oh, is she for real? Oh wow, really? Like these are types of examples of the natural child. So the second aspect of the child is the victim child. Well, this aspect of the ego goes through a lot of stress, and they see, like as children and as young teenagers, we see ourselves as innocent wonders and explorers of the world. So when we first experience or witness rejection, intolerance, like judgment and hatred and other negative emotions, like the state of the ego goes into a shock, and it can either become a victim, an innocent victim, or become aware that there are negative qualities to the world that bring about undesirable results. So this ego state has formed a lot of fear, anger, jealousy. All these negative emotions are brought about from the ego state. So an example of a person who will communicate from that state of ego could be like, do I have to do this? Oh, this is so unfair. Oh, it's so disgusting. I don't want this right now. Oh, why me? Stuff like that. That is the victim child at play. So the second main ego state is the parent state. This state is developed from the first 5 years of our childhood from interacting with our parents. So basically, there are 2 aspects of the parent state. The first aspect is the strict parent state. The second one is the supportive parent state. So when a child interacts with a supportive parent, that he experiences joy, love, encouragement, support, and kindness. These emotions and communication with children are very well received, and they are delighted to receive that kind of communication. Therefore, their personality will be developed towards a more kind and benevolent aspect. So their thought forms, the way they speak, the way they hold their moral values, and also from the way that they behave, become more kind and benevolent as well. So for the second aspect of the parent state, which is the strict parent state, this occurs when the parent orders the child, demands the child, gives them strict instructions on how to behave, how to communicate, how to talk, what kind of moral values you should have in a strict form. Especially, it's prevalent in developing a child's like personality, because all children would like to meet the expectations of their parents and loved ones. So when these instructions and orders come from their parents, and especially when they're negative, like punishments or negative aspects in not following the orders that are given by the parents, these children will have these types of personality and mimic their parents in terms of their strictness and orderliness, and they become more obedient in a way. That they communicate for an example, they communicate in a way that is more harsh. So to give you an example, one would like communicate or think in a strict parent style like this. Oh, that person has got it all wrong. Oh, she's so dumb. Like, can you please stop being so stupid? You should have done it this way. This is the right way to do it. So as you can see, it's very orderly, it's very strict and direct. It's like ordering a person around. So the last aspect of the ego is the adult state of the ego. This state of the ego is developed by juggling the intense feelings of the child state and also the rules and mandates of the adult state. This aspect of the ego is like a data processing computer where it analyzes internal and external processes. So in order for the adult state to really be present, one must listen to the advice of the parent state and also to react and to cater to the needs and the reactions of the child state. So an optimized adult state would be to be independent of the child state and the parent state without losing control and without blocking them out at the same time. Because the adult state is all about analyzing logically and to come up with a decision. That is the main criteria to be an adult state, a developed one. So thoughts and speech become more logical, and they become clear and logical opinions rather than judgments or beliefs, and they are usually emotionally neutral. So a communication style of the adult state would be straightforward, direct. It would be descriptive, ask questions. It would also analyze and calculate probabilities, and also become very aware and well-researched about what is true and what is not true, what is known and what is unknown. So this is the adult state of ego. An example of communicating from this state of the ego would be, I see that you are very angry, and I would like to make it up to you and talk to you when you are feeling more calm. Or I'm feeling very agitated right now. Could we take a break so that we can talk in the future? So now, having described all these states to you, I hope you take the time to look within yourself when you're talking and communicating and thinking to yourself, and you'll be able to identify these three aspects within yourself. Have fun getting to know yourselves. Thank you.
Now we'll take 2 minutes to evaluate DJ, and our guests are welcome to evaluate as well. These little slips, you can just write their name and your name as well, like we mentioned earlier, and anything that you saw or wanted to praise or wanted just to mention. So 2 minutes on the clock, and we're back. Our next evaluator is Jyoti Raj Adhikari, and please help me warmly welcome Jyoti so we can introduce our next speaker.
Fellow Toastmasters guests and viewers at home. Wahid Ahmed Amin, am I correct? Yeah. Is doing his very first project. This is Icebreaker. So this is the first project. He starts his speaking skills from here. So Wahid is from Afghanistan. He did his schooling in his country, and he moved to India for a while and did his bachelor in computer science there. Wahid is interested in reading, writing, computer, and motivational speakings. He is keen in helping others, and he is very interested in business and sports. He is currently doing MSc in computer science at AMUM. He is doing his first project, Icebreaker, as I told you, and his objectives today are to begin speaking before audience, to discover speaking skills he already has, and skill that needs some attention. Please welcome Wahid.
Yes. I have come from a country in Asia, in some part of Asia, called Afghanistan. My journey from my childhood to the present day has been complicated, difficult, but joyful. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and the beautiful viewers at home, good evening. When I was a child, I used to play in my grandmother's house. It was a very big house with the main building in the middle and two very big grounds at the sides. There were pins at any point of time, from the early morning till late at night. You could find tens of people, kids, grown-ups, and old people enjoying and playing. Those memories at my childhood was beautiful, but they didn't last very long. As I grew up, I was in first or second standard, that life changed. The days started to be more darker. The people started to be more stressed out. And I could, at those early ages, I could feel that. Yes, there was a regime change in my country, and it was very difficult. We had to experience, I personally as a child had to experience a lot of things. But fortunately, those didn't last for a long time, and it changed at some point of time. I want to take you a little bit further to the time when I became like 17 or 18 years old. At that time, I didn't have any hope in my life. I didn't have any goals in my life. I was confused like many other adults, which they are at that stage. So, okay, I was very confused. So the so-called self-made man, according to me, may not exist, because we have been helped in one way or another by many people to become who we are and where we are. And the people who have been very helpful in my life to become who I am have been my father foremost, which has always been supportive of my decision. As long as that decision was not self-destructive and antisocial, he has always supported me, and I am very grateful for that. The second person in my life which had a very great impact is my eldest brother, which has always, till today, is the greatest. He has always helped me and always was supportive. He taught me how to give hope to the hopeless, how to be generous to the needy, and how to be kind to the people. Okay, at that stage of my early youth years, where I was very disappointed, where I was very hopeless and like confused, I got a book called, the translation of the title in English is How to Unlimited Success in 21 Days. I read this book, I reread it again, and it gave me a lot of motivation. I didn't know what goal was, but it taught me how to set goals, how to go and achieve them. I set some goals at those days. Not long after a few years of working and trying and struggle, I found myself to be in India, chasing after a fantasy, I should call say now, because I wanted to become an actor and be in cinema and be a director. But that was a fantasy, because at the beginning when I got into it, I knew it, that I didn't have motivations for that. So I selected computer science, and I became a computer student. I did my bachelor, and then I gone for a master's, which I didn't complete it. This was pretty much whatever happened. Later on, I returned back to my country, worked for 1 year and 3 months, and then I joined MUM for further studies. As I look back into my past, I see that those goals which I set like 10 years ago when I was 17 or 18 is now coming to be true one by one. Late, but still it is coming to be true. And I hope that the rest will come soon. This was the journey which I've taken from those age, from the early age till now. So in future, I hope to be a successful, or I see myself to be a successful business owner, and a writer, and a philanthropist to help people who are in need. And that's my motivation, and that's my purpose in life. Thank you.
Let's take a couple minutes to evaluate Hy-Vee. 2 minutes, please. Now that we have finished our prepared speeches section, we'll vote for the best speaker. So we'll pull out our little slips, and guests are encouraged to participate as well, or vote as well. Just write down, oh, yes. Did both speakers qualify? Timer, what's your timer?
Both speakers qualified.
And what, their names, please?
DJ and Hy-Vee.
So please cast your votes, and our ballot collector will be moseying around shortly.
More balance.
The next section of our meeting will be led by our general evaluator for the evening, Art Atkinson. Please help me warmly welcome Art.
So, good evening. There's a so to be recorded. My name is Art Atkinson. I'm General Evaluator this evening. Before we launch into table topics, we'll hear from the evaluators of our 2 speakers. We'll hear first from Rick Starr, evaluating PJ's speech, and then we'll hear from Jyoti, evaluating the talk that Hy-Vee has just given to us. So I'd like to invite Rick Starr to give us his evaluation.
Thank you, Art, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and viewers at home. DJ's speech was called Get to the Point, and the purpose was to select a speech with both a general and a specific purpose. What I'm going to do is go through the evaluation points in the manual. Was the general purpose of the speech clear? Yes, it was. The general purpose was for us to know ourselves better. Was the specific purpose of the speech clear? Yes, indeed. specific purpose was for us to understand the 3 ego states. Did the speech's organization support the speech's specific purpose? Absolutely. DJ went into a lot of detail of the 3 ego states, gave examples of each one. Did the main points and supporting material contribute to the speech's specific purpose? And the next one is the beginning, body, conclusion reinforced the specific purpose. Absolutely. DJ gave us a good introduction, what he wanted to tell us. The structure was a triad of the 3 types of ego states, a lot of details, a lot of examples, and the conclusion was a summary of what he had told us, and also a request that we have fun getting to know ourselves. Did the speaker appear confident and sincere with minimal nervousness? Yes, DJ was very confident. And did the speaker rely on notes? No notes. Very good. Congratulations. What did you like about the presentation? I like many things about it. DJ is very personable, and his personality came through in the speech. Very personable speech. DJ came out and stood in front of the podium. DJ has very natural vocal variety, very dramatic vocal variety, is very personable, and it comes through. DJ also made good use of gestures to emphasize points. What could the speaker have done differently? I think he could have done maybe 2 things differently. One is DJ stayed in the middle of the stage the whole time. Since the speech was divided into triad, into 3 parts, DJ could have just stepped slightly to the side and in the middle and to the other side for each part. It doesn't have to be broad movement, slightly. And what else could he have done differently? While DJ had good gestures, I noticed you had some nervous gestures. You adjusted your glasses, and so maybe try to realize what you're doing and not to do that. But overall, very good speech, very effective, well written, clearly well rehearsed, a lot of detail, a lot of information. Good speech.
Thank you, Rick. Now I'd like to invite Jyoti Raj to give us his evaluation for what he.
First, I'd like to give him a big hand for his first speech. Your first speech, and you made it. Your objectives were to begin speaking before audience. You spoke. Not only spoke, but you did a fabulous job. To discover speaking skills you already have, and skills that need some attention. Yes, you already have a very good speaking skill. You just have to polish it. That's all. I'll follow the manual. How well did the audience get to know the speaker? We knew you very well from the childhood. You started your childhood in Afghanistan, and your grandmother there, and your brother, and you came to India, you did your computer science, and you came to US, and now you are here. We understood you completely. Did the speaker reflect adequate preparation? Yes, of course. You had a very good preparation, I know that. You did a lot of rehearsal, and you came here with well-rehearsed attitude. Did the speaker talk clearly and audibly? Yes. Your first speech, and I was really, I mean, I don't say surprised, but I was so, I mean, what to say? I'll say surprised. Surprised to see that the first speech, and you are doing great job, well done. Did the speaker have a definite opening, body and conclusion? Yes. You had the opening, how you spent your childhood, and then you have a body like you told us about how you felt and how you became a purposeless life, something like that. And then you had your brother, and you read a book like how to become a successful in 21 days, and you came to India, and all this stuff. That was great. Please comment on the speaker's use of notes. Yes, that you're using note, but that is okay for the first or second speech because you have some nervousness and you may forget what you want to say. But what I want to suggest is you make just a note, outlines, not the whole speech in your hands, but just outlines. My childhood, my grandmother, my brother, 21 days of success, graduation in India, and MUM, something like that. So you just have short notes so that you can just peek at it and just speak. And two suggestions I have, because it's your very first speech and you did a really great job. The first thing is, I just want you to focus on the audience. You should take a particular audience like this side and talk for a while. I went to India and I couldn't do my graduation. And then I moved to US. You can take somebody in the audience just in the middle so that everybody think that you are talking to everybody. Now I'm talking to you, but everybody is thinking that I'm talking to all the audience. So middle, go to the middle, go to the middle. So that's the way. And second thing is the pacing. Don't move without purpose. Just stand still, stand still, stand still. That's all. Great job.
Now we will move into table topics. I'd like to invite our table topics master, Ryan Frommiller, to lead this session.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and viewers at home. Tonight, the table topics theme is the Earth Day, which is coming up on the 23rd, I believe. And table topics is an opportunity to come up in front of the audience and practice your speaking skills in an impromptu way, express your answer to a question you have 2 minutes for the question, and you have 30 seconds to, after you receive the question, to think about it, think about what you're going to say, and then you have 2 minutes. So the questions, there's 5 questions. We have usually 5 table topics. 5 table topic speakers, and like I said, the theme is Earth Day, but there's going to be some non-Earth Day related things as well. So, and we'll see what you get. Anybody interested in trying table topics out tonight? Anybody? Any members?
Guests are welcome.
I'll do it.
I'll do it.
Hey.
All right. Very good. All right. So pick a number between 1 and 5.
What's his name?
Yes.
Emery.
Emery, yes.
3.
3, okay. Okay, so you've taken a time machine back into the 1950s, and you're supposed to describe, this, like I said, there are going to be some non-birthday ones. What is text messaging to someone from the 1950s who has never? If you're, and you can segue too. If you don't feel comfortable with the topic, you can take it and segue into something else.
Like a politician.
Whatever. Yeah, you can go into politics or whatever you want. But just yeah, that's the topic that I'm giving you. Your time machine back into the 50s and explain to somebody, anybody, what text messaging is.
Okay.
Okay. Very good.
Well, you are all familiar as denizens of the 50s with Dick Tracy and his two-way wrist radio. Well, in the future, go forward 50, 60 years, and the two-way wrist radio finally becomes a reality, but it gets liberated from the wrist. And these radio waves that carry messages to Dick Tracy's two-way radio now can come to an electronic device that you carry in your pocket. And You can receive voice messages on that. You can talk on a telephone, just like your rotary dial phones that you have in your homes and offices. But a fantastic development is a keyboard, and you can actually type on these tiny keyboards and transmit written messages to anyone. But again, it's very much like the Dick Tracy two-way radio that you're all familiar with.
Thank you. All right. So, anybody else want to take their swing at the pitch here? Wahid, all right. So pick a number, 1 to 5. One. Okay. What is your in terms of environmental utopia? Like, what would you see as the perfect world in terms of environmental? It's Earth Day, you know, like what types of things do you see as environmental utopia? Yes. Yeah, thank you. You accept?
Yeah.
All right. Good segue.
Yes, it was a few years ago, like let's say around 3-4 years ago. I wanted to join my family for the New Year's, which everyone knows, everyone loves to be with their families at such a time. Like Christmas, we have also a New Year. At that time of the year, I read online that the weather is going to be fine. So I booked a ticket to join with my family. But I didn't know that we have such an impact, big negative impact on the environment, that it is going to suddenly start raining. When I reached there, it suddenly started tornado. So, as a result, the flight got canceled, and I couldn't see, and I couldn't be with my family for the New Year. I spent my New Year in the airport. This is definitely not what do you say? Environmental utopia. It is contrary to the. It's definitely the opposite. So I spent 1 New Year in airport because of the effects, because of the things we have done to the environment. And now I would like to request everyone and everybody all over the world, so at least to reduce our impacts on the environment, so that for the future generation, when they are at the airport, they don't run into such a problem and they don't miss the good opportunity to be with their family and to enjoy it. Thank you so much.
Let's see. Anybody else? A couple more volunteers. Thank you. Sean. All right. Welcome, Sean.
Let's go with number 5.
Number 5. Okay. Go big here. Okay. What do you do on a daily basis that is sustainable or environmental? Yeah, friendly.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, good luck.
Wow, it's my lucky night. This is perfect. Because I'm actually work for a company that's in the environmental business. A company out of Appalachian, New York called Landfill Service Corporation. So I'm literally in landfills talking trash all day long. And I kind of educate them on this very thing of environmental impact. Because typically in a landfill, as you all know, you throw all your garbage in Waste Management in Fairfield, picks it all up, and it goes to Richland, which is the Simcoe landfill. And at the landfill, every day at 4 o'clock, you have to cover the garbage with 6 inches of soil. So it's all the soil over here that are taking out of what they call the borrow area, and then it's covered over the garbage 6 inches on top. And our material that Landfill Service Corporation sells is actually a material that replaces all the soil. So you can imagine 6 inches, 6 inches, 6 inches. And the only thing in a landfill that you have to sell is airspace. So once you're filling up your landfill with all that dirt, airspace goes away. We got a problem in Fairfield because your landfill's closed and your garbage has got to go a lot further, which means everybody pays more to haul the garbage off. So it's called the tipping fee. So what happens is, when I'm in a landfill and I'm giving a demonstration, we actually apply a environmentally friendly bentonite clay that's mined out of Wild Bend, Wyoming. It's the most purest bentonite clay on earth. We show the landfill how they can mix it in a hydroseeder, and they spray the material literally just like a hose. You're mixing a tank of this clay, it looks like soil. You're spraying it right on the garbage with 1/8 of an inch versus 6 inches. And the environmental impact is huge. Our company's been in business 26 years. We do business in 12 countries and 46 states. I'm our Midwest regional guy. I cover 12 states. I'm hardly ever home. I just happen to be tonight. My iPhone says, hey, Toastmasters meeting. So I'm glad I came. I had no idea I'd get to give a sales pitch.
One more? Okay. Last chance. Final offer. Anybody? All right, DJ. Come on up. Five was taken, but 1 through
taken. 4.
We'll say, I don't know. Let's say, I guess it was 3. Yeah.
3
so
is taken, huh?
3, 4.
1 and 3 and 5. So we have 2 and 4.
Describe one challenge you overcame with humor. It's totally random.
Oh my God.
It's different than Earth Day,
30
but
seconds, right?
okay, 30 seconds.
Oh damn. Funnily enough, like I can't.
Funnily enough. Okay. Here we go. Yes, thank you. All right.
Well, I cannot think of anything in my life, but I can tell you that humor is a great way to solve problems. For example, when you are facing a crisis, you feel the stress in your back. You feel like somebody's stabbing you in the back. You feel like you cannot operate anymore. You feel hopeless. You're stranded. You cannot operate your full productivity. Your heart is sinking. Your brain is malfunctioning, half awake most of the time, thinking about trying to escape the situation you're in. You feel stressed. You look at people, you're not interested in them. You're like, oh, I have other things on my plate. I can care about you right now. You look at your problem and it's like, oh my God, give me a headache. I have no intention to do this. So what can you do? What has the power to lift all this away? Humor. When you laugh, your heart opens up. Your brain clears out. Forgets the problem you're in the first place. When you're joking about something that you care about, something that makes you want to laugh at, something that makes you passionate about. You want to engage in it because you feel delight. There's joy in humor. There's laughter. What is more powerful than that? Take away all your stress, make you want to be engaged with people because you're laughing and you feel like there's a connection when you laugh with people. Anybody, when you laugh with somebody, you feel connected with them instantly. When you have a problem, when you laugh at the problem, you realize that, hey, you know, it's not so much of a problem anymore because I feel joyful. I feel motivated to want to solve it now. I feel good about it. It no longer becomes a problem, but like a game, a challenge that you're going to overcome and just only gives you joy when in the process of doing it. So I believe that humor has power. Thank you.
Nice job. All right, so thank you everybody for participating in Table Topics. We will get a number on your, if you all qualified for the speech and for the table topics award. And yeah, did everybody qualify for?
Oh, yes.
Everybody qualified? Okay. So can we get the names of everybody qualified so that we can take a vote, or we can vote later? Vote now. Okay. We get the vote. Get the names of everybody qualified.
Emery, Wahid, Sham, and DJ.
Okay. 3. DJ. Okay. 4. Thank you. And yes, please vote for the best table topics.
We're back. I'd like to invite Monty Conklin, our table topics evaluator, to give us his views of what we just saw and heard.
Toastmasters and our guests, viewers at home. The theme tonight was Earth Day, with a couple random splices of randomness thrown in, right? Emery, you had the time machine. You went back to the 50s, and you had to tell people from the 50s about text messaging. I thought you took what could have been a complicated comparison topic, and you did a great job with it. You had a great example of using the Dick Tracy watch, and I think it was very easy to relate to. For people did people know about the Dick Tracy watch that you mentioned? Was that a good?
Yes.
So probably it's more of an American.
I think it's an age thing.
It's more of an American. It might be an age thing, but it was the device that you could talk to. So it was basically a cell phone, but it was from the 50s. My recommendation for you was when you gave your table topic, you basically stood here the whole time. I'd recommend trying to move around a little bit more. Wahid, you just gave your icebreaker tonight, but you wanted more. You got the question about, and what would an environmental utopia be like for you? And you sort of started out, you gave us the opposite. You gave us a story, your New Year's story, about how the environment negatively affected you. What I liked is that you used your 30 seconds. You used about part of it. You thought a little bit, you gathered your thoughts, and you started your story. I thought that was really good. One thing I'd like to see from you is a little bit less pacing, a little bit of what Jody also mentioned to you. Be more purposeful about where you stand. I liked how you had good voice projection. You speak very clearly. Where's Sean? Sean, a daily sustainable practice. And like you mentioned, this was a little bit of a cheat for you since you work for a sustainability environmental company. You ended up giving a really good sales presentation. It's obvious that you're an experienced speaker. You had good gestures. That's one thing I noticed. When you spoke, you moved your hands. When you described something, you used good sweeping gestures, is how I described it. I don't really have any advice for you. That was a pretty good pitch. I'm sure you've done it before. Good to have you here tonight, though. DJ, once again, one of our speakers, couldn't get enough tonight. You had the question of, tell us about a challenge that you overcame with humor. You used your 30 seconds, and you were struggling a little bit, but you had a great segue. You ended up expounding upon the topic. You changed the topic, but it was related to it. I thought that was really well done. You had powerful gestures. There's one gesture that you did where, what can you do that will sweep all that away? That was a good gesture. I like that. And you had a good conclusion. Humor has power. You wrapped it up well. My only advice to you was, and this might be just a criticism because it wasn't really when you were talking, but when you first came up, you had a mouthful of food. You were chewing the whole time, but you swallowed it right before you started. Congratulations.
Mr. Timer, have all of the evaluators qualified this evening?
Yes,
That would be Rick, Jyoti, and Monty.
Yes, they did. They all qualified.
Very good. So we have arrived at that point where we use the last piece of our ballot to vote for the best evaluator. Again, guests are welcome to vote.
The names are Rick, Jyoti, and Monty.
Rick, Jyoti, and Monty.
I just speak this out.
More about.
All right, we're back. Now I'd like to call on our role players to give us their reports, beginning with the timer. The many talented Monty Condon will give us his report.
Our speeches tonight, we'll start with those. DJ spoke for 7 minutes and 28 seconds. Coming close, but you made it, right under the wire. Hy-Vee, you spoke for 5 minutes and 30 seconds on the dot. Our table topics, Emery, you spoke for 1 minute 15. Hy-Vee, you spoke for 1 minute 46 for table topics. Sean, you spoke for 2 minutes and 15 seconds. DJ, you spoke for 1 minute 42. Our speech evaluators, Rick, you spoke for 3:04. Jody, you spoke for 3 minutes and 17 seconds. And Monty, as table topics evaluator, spoke for 3 minutes and 24 seconds. That's my report.
Yes. So Samantha's the winner. She's the only one that said fearless. The rest of you were full of fear, I guess. DJ said innocent wonders and explorers of the world. I thought that was a nice sentence. And Wahid said the days start to be darker. I thought that was poetic. And how to give hope to the hopeless. That's my report.
Dear Joe, could you give us our outcomes report?
Okay, Samantha, like, I'll tell total and then each one, how many are. Samantha 1 hour, Monty 4, 1 hour, 1, so 1 and 1 repeat. Rick Star, total 3, 1 1 tongue click, 1 repeat. DJ 7, 1 hour, free so 3 tongue click. Jyoti Raj 8, 5 hour, 2 and 1 repeat. Y 15 total, 5 hour, 1 2 live, free so 1 and 1 tongue click, 1 repeat. Art total 1 so, prana 14, 5 hour, 3 1 so, 5 and. Memory 5, 2 hour, 1 so, 2 and. Sean 2 hour.
Thank you, that's your report. For our guests, that the purpose of meeting an odd counter is to develop the habit of listening for those sounds in your own speech and to begin to correct the habit of making noises when silence would be all right. many of us have grown up speaking, saying, well, so to fill up space while we think of what's to be said next. One thing that we find when we take on the role of out counter is that we become all of a sudden very aware of how much we're doing it ourselves. Yes? So I invite all of our guests to become a member, and one of the first roles to take on is to be the out counter and learn just how easy it is to start to detect that. I'd like to call on our next, oh goody, our next role player is our joke master, Samantha Young.
Okay, disclosure. I consider it a challenge to find a joke for Toastmasters. I'm not too sure why, but I faced it fearlessly. So, Tom Cruise is about to sign on to an action-packed, high-tech, eco-thriller, Mission Compostable.
Thank you. We can always count on Samantha for something sustainable. I'll keep my comments brief. Tonight's evaluators were all experienced veteran evaluators, and what we saw from each of them was a combination of praise for the things that were done well and some observations about what could be done to improve the speaker's next presentation. The purpose of evaluation is a key, evaluation itself is a key activity in a good Toastmasters club, and we have developed a culture here where evaluations inspire us to get better rather than making us feel like, oh, we didn't do so well. Most of us are pretty good at telling ourselves that I didn't do so well. An evaluator can help us to see it from someone else's perspective. Rick, for example, used the manual in his introduction to DJ's project. He evaluated with the manual point by point. He emphasized that DJ had a very clear introduction, body, and conclusion to his speech. He liked the personable, relaxed way in which DJ speaks, the gestures and the vocal variety that he demonstrated, and made a suggestion as far as how to actually use the stage to emphasize the three different states that were the main points of the body of his speech. And he had suggestions. Jyoti did the same thing. He congratulated Wahid on the adequacy of his preparation, on the strong vocal projection, and made recommendations as far as how he could improve his use of notes, using note cards rather than a completely written out speech. And he pointed out an area of improvement that will come with future speeches as you start to focus on developing the skill of having eye contact with all parts of the audience and individual people. Monty had the task of being both timer and table topics evaluator. He had recommendations for each of the speakers. He had a bit of praise for everybody. Yes, and recommended something for each speaker. Those are the observations I have, and I'd like now to turn the lectern back over to our Toastmaster, Samantha Young.
We are ready for the meeting awards when Lewis gives me the little ribbons. Yeah. Suspense. Okay, drum roll, please. Best evaluator for the evening is Monty. Okay. And the best speaker and best table topic has the same person, DJs. And we'd like to also reward Wahid for your first speech. And now it is time to turn over our meeting to our president, Lewis Dembaum.
I would like, first of all, to call up Rick Starr to talk about our upcoming area contest.
Thank you, Lewis. A few weeks ago, all the clubs in our area held a contest, actually two contests. One was an inspirational speech contest, and the other was a table topics contest. Now, all the winners from all these individual club contests will come and meet Thursday night here for an area contest. There are 5 clubs in our area. We'll have at least representative from 4 clubs. The other club is a prison club. And my guess is if they do get out, they're not going to come here. So I'd urge all of you to come to this contest next Thursday.
This Thursday.
Thank you, Lewis. This Thursday. Appreciate you correcting me. And it'll be fun. If you're a regular club member, you'll hear speakers you hadn't heard before. If you're a guest, you'll get to support, you'll get to hear a contest. And I urge all of you to come. I urge all of you to bring guests. It'll be fun. These area contests are all fun. Now the winners of this go on. The winner of the inspirational speech contest can actually go on to the international competition. The winner of the table topics contest stops at district, but the international competition will be held at in Las Vegas this year in August. So it's quite possible our own Lewis Dembaum, who won the club inspirational speech contest, will be at the international contest in Las Vegas. So I urge you all to come.
Thank you, Rick. Other club business.
Well, just a question in regard to that. Are there any positions for the contest remaining to be filled?
There probably are. So please come a little bit early on Thursday, and the contest chair will assign you 2 roles.
Okay.
And we'll have refreshments at the end of that contest. Sean?
Is it going to be here
It's going to be here, right in this room.
at 7:40?
No, at 7:30. 7:30.
But we need to arrive more like 7:10.
Yeah, come at 7:10 if you'd like to play a role. If you're a Toastmaster and would like to play a role, please come around 7:10.
And guests can come.
Guests can definitely come.
Guests are welcome.
And guests can bring other guests.
And they're welcome too.
Is there any other club business? Okay, guests, raise your hand. Okay, wow, good turnout. So I would like each of you, if you want to say a sentence or so about what your reaction was to the meeting.
Me first?
Sure, why not?
I'm Tabitha, for those of you that I haven't met.
I really appreciate the camaraderie in the meeting and how the structure in Toastmasters of giving and receiving feedback is so well developed. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'm Emery. I think that the whole program is valuable, the structure of it, the different roles you play that create the awareness of things like Oz, and probably most important of all, just the regular practice you get of speaking before people and getting positive, constructive evaluation.
I'm Ahmed. I really like how people can practice their public speaking. But I didn't like when somebody's talking from here. It just it was awkward to look at him. And I also said I was expecting that there's somebody will at some stage or some other day somebody will teach people how to do this or that. So I don't know if this exists or we just practice and learn by practice only.
The answer to that is when you join Toastmasters, there is a manual that outlines the 10 speeches that you take sequentially. There's a lot of material in there. Then you're also assigned a mentor who will work with you in between the speeches. Make sure that you understand what the objectives are of that particular speech. It teaches you the roles, so someone will work with you. But it is also, in the end, how much practice do you put in and what do you take in from the evaluation process. Next.
So I'm Sean Fry, and what I guess impresses me the most about the club is a couple things. One, I'm going to join tonight, so. Is very interesting here in Fairfield is all the cultural differences that can come together. I mean, I'm used to dealing with middle-aged white guys at the landfill, and here I get to see guys from all over the world right here in Fairfield, which is, you know, I mean, I travel in 12 states, and I'm telling you, right here, as far as the cultural diversity in this room, right here in Little Fairfield, Iowa, is pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to joining and getting to know you guys.
All right. Yes, so welcome to join too.
I'm Michael. This is my first time to be in Toastmasters. I always avoided public speeches or presentations because I'm kind of shy. I avoid talking in public. So when I heard about Toastmasters, it sounded interesting to me. So I'm here. I already learned something useful, and I hope I will continue attending this kind of meeting. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Sergio. What could be more important than communication? I love this group. Every time I learn something new, I enjoy. Yes, it's amazing. Like you know, like everything, every single thing, like the corrections, like the mistakes, you know, like those kind of things. So I really appreciate all the knowledge that every one of you share here. I mean, you guys are, you know, native speakers, so it's like, you know, far easy for you guys to teach us how to you know, how to use the language. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, and I think that's my contribution.
Thank you.
Of the people who are here, because I am also 2 months or not older than 2 months here.
The first time I made a speech, I was actually choking here. I couldn't even talk for a minute or a minute and a half. So, but in the last 2 months of just attending, I didn't practice too much also, except this speech maybe a little bit. I just attended and I learned a lot of things, and the club is very supportive, and that gives you that support is alone enough for you to improve. So anyone who wants to it's not about only public speaking, it's about your overall communication with others, overall self-confidence and things like that. So I hope that you do.
And I want to address Tabitha's comment. So I'm only speaking to the members. Do you enjoy the camaraderie that we have? Raise your hand.
Absolutely.
All right, so it really is awesome. It's an unexpected icing on the cake benefit of being in the club is the camaraderie that we share each week. We have to come here, we have to get the room set up, and it's a team. We become a team and a family. And it's really fantastic to hear these talks from people all over the world and all different parts of the country and different backgrounds. It's fascinating. Okay, so now it's time for part of the program that doesn't always happen. It's called PPP, President's Pet Peeves, where I get to talk about a pet peeve. This is about table topics, and unfortunately, those of us on the board probably dropped the ball today, because at our last board meeting, we reiterated that table topics is supposed to be for guests and people who don't have a speaking role. And tonight, our two primary speakers came up for table topics. So the table topic master, you have to be aware that speakers don't generally get to do table topics. And the board is going to remind the table topics master each meeting to hold up to that. And it might mean that the table topic master might call on somebody who didn't have a speaking role. Come on up. I did not want to do table topics when I first joined Toastmasters. And every once in a while, Tom Trainer, one of our founding fathers here, would say, come on, Dembaum, get up and do a table topic. And it was helpful. I didn't like it, but it made me get up and do the table topic, and I'm glad he did that. So that's my pet peeve for the evening. Any other comments or club business? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Okay, do I have a second to the motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor of adjourning tonight's meeting, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.